Now we've georeferenced our image and we're trying to figure out the coordinates of these points. So, oops. Okay, so here's our map, and we had it with 50% transparency, and the reason for that is we wanted to see how the two overlaid, and they seem to overlay pretty well. So we're going to go back to properties and display, and we're going to 0% transparency. And I don't need this base map, so I'll go ahead and turn that one off. Okay, so now what we have to do is we need to create a shapefile. So in this case, I am working in this particular directory, so I'm just going to right-click, New Shapefile, and I'm going to call this Borings Demo. Okay, so it's point, and I'm going to give it a coordinate system. So thus far we've been working in this world coordinate system, and so we don't want projected, we want the geographic. And we'll go down here to the world, and the most common system is this WGS 1984. So we click OK and click OK. And so this boring is already added to my list of shapefiles. Okay, so the ones that we're going to work on here are the B borings. There's a lot of borings all over the place, and we could definitely do all of them. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to just focus in on the borings that were done in 2016. Okay, so you can see there's B101, B101A, and then we've got B104. There's kind of a cluster of B104 borings over here, and so on and so forth. So we're just going to get the general gist of how to do this. I'm not going to do every single boring, but we're going to do the ones that are from 2006, or the B dash borings. Okay, so we come over here and we go to Edit Features, and we start editing. Okay, so I'm ready to start editing, and my little sketch properties is not showing up, and create features is not showing up. So let's go to create features, and that's what we really want to do, is create features. And we'll go over to point. And now what this does is, you can see that little point is over there. It's going to place a point where I put the cursor. So I'm going to just start placing these points. So I placed a couple points. We can pan around a little bit, see if we can find some more points to add. So here we've got 102 over here. Maybe you want to add that one as well. So we'll come back over to boring demo, point, and then we'll add point 102. And it looks like we've got our 104 points, we've got our 102 points, we've got our 101 points. We're missing our 103 points, so we start hunting around, and there's B103 way over here. So we can kind of zoom in over here. So once again, boring demo, click on the point, we're going to add it. Okay. And if I was going to do a really comprehensive analysis, maybe I would do everything, but right now we're just kind of getting the general gist of things, and so I'm going to stop. I'm going to say we're going to go under our editor, and we're going to stop editing. Yeah, so I want to save the edits. I say sure, and now I come over here and I open my attribute table. Okay, so you can see here that you have those points there. In fact, you can highlight them. The last one we worked with was B103, and you can see that that's highlighted over there, but there's no name associated with it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a field, and I'm going to call this boring. I'll make this a text. It defaults to 50, which is far more characters than I need, but that will work. Now I'm also going to be interested in what the X and the Y are. In this case, it's the latitude and the longitude. Now, you can do this two ways. You can come in and put in the latitude and the longitude. However, when we're going to do our computations, we're going to want to do those computations based on feet. So we're going to do something in order to change that. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Data Frame Properties. and then I'm going to switch my coordinate system. So instead of being in the world coordinate system, we are going to be in the projected. So in this case, the world is being projected into a series of flat planes. I'm going to use the state systems, state plane systems. And I'm going to default to North America data, 1983 US feet. So that's the most current system. And then I'm going to go down to the state plane for the state of New York. So that's where we're working right now. Okay, and so the states are broken up into different regions. In Illinois, it's just east and west, and in New York, there's different areas. And in this case, we have a specific system just for Long Island. So I'm going to click OK. And now I have changed my system to this flat plane system. And as you saw there, and we'll just kind of zoom to the layer, that actually had the effect of sort of flattening out this surface. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a couple fields. So I'm going to add two fields. One I'm going to call northing, which is the Y, and that I'm going to make that double precision. I'll give it 17 digits, give it 2 to the right of the decimal point. Okay, then I'll add another one called easting. Once again, double 17 and 2. Okay, so now what I can do is I can compute the coordinates of these points. So I'm going to right click to northing, and I'm going to go to calculate geometry. Now I have the choice of either using the coordinate system of the data source or the data frame. So in this case, I want to use the data frame, which is this Long Island state plane system. And I click. Now this is the northing is going to be Y, so it correctly guessed that. I clicked OK. And I think I just selected that one, so let me just make sure that, oh, I see. So what I've done here is I've got that selected right there, and so it just did the computation on the selected. So I'm going to go over here to my boring demo, and I'm going to go under selection and clear selection, selected features. Now let's do the computation again. So once again, state plane, click OK, and does computations for all those. Okay. Now, as I'm looking at this, I see that this is 40.864, and I know for sure that that is the coordinate system for northing or for latitude and longitude. So something has happened here. So let's double check here. So we come over here and we look at the data frame properties, and we see that our coordinate system is in state plane. Click OK. Come back here, right click, and then we say calculate geometry. Okay. And we make sure that we select state plane, click OK. Gives me the same system. Then we come over here to calculate geometry, and now we're going to calculate our easting. We use that state plane system. Click OK. And make sure that we choose the X in this case. Okay, so at this point there is something wrong because we should be choosing our northing and easting, and those should be in large numbers. So let's do one other thing. I'm going to come back on your data frame properties, and then we're going to go general, and instead of displaying decimal degrees, we're going to display feet. Click OK. All right, let's do this recalculation. Units of feet. You can see that's where I messed up there. It should be in terms of feet. No, that's much better. Then we go on to calculate geometry. Not decimal degrees. the units we want to use are feet. Oops. In this case, this is going to be the x. So x is for easting, y is for northing, and once again, you can see how easy this is to mess up, but we want to do this in terms of the New York system. We want to do this in terms of feet. Click OK. One more time. We want the x coordinate, and we want this in terms of feet. So you can see there's a couple of things that are easy to mess up here. Now, it's useful to kind of know what is supposed to happen. For example, you know your x and y are not supposed to be the same thing. But you should also have a kind of a general feeling that, okay, well, my northing, if I'm dealing with state plane, shouldn't just be the same thing as my latitude and longitude and so on and so forth. Okay, so checking this to be feet. Okay, and now everything works out just fine. All right, so now all we need to do is give our borings our different names. So what we'll do is we can zoom into our area, and then we're going to right click, and we'll go to edit features and start editing. Now we can select our feature. So there's this feature over here, and we can zoom in, and that's B101. Okay, now we go to the next feature. That's B101A. Our next feature over here, that's B104. Zoom in here to make sure that we got that one right. It's B104. And the next one is B104A. Come over to the next one is B104B. And you can see right now that actually it's not in the exact location. And I know this is all very rough, but if we wanted to, we could edit this. And then in order to do this, we would go under our create features, and then borings demo point, and then under our editor, we would select edit tool. And now we can come over here and we can take this and we can move it over to where we want it to go. So I'm going to take this over here. If I wanted to, I can move it over here. I can move it over here. So it's moved just very slightly. Okay, so now I've got 104, 104A, 104B. I'm going to zoom to the layer. Sometimes that's useful for navigating. So B102 is over here. So this is B102A. I select the next one. It's B102. Don't like that one either. So we can come over here to our editor. We can move this over, I can move it over here, or I could put it where it needs to go, right there. Okay. Yeah, it's close enough. All right, so let's go back over here. Now, I'll go back and we will zoom to our layer. Now you can see that's highlighted up there, and we'll zoom over here, and that's B103. Now, I've gone and I've done all this editing, and I can go to my editor and I can stop editing. Do I want to save the edits? Yes, I do. Now, as you can see, we made a couple changes. So ArcGIS does not automatically update everything. So we're going to come over here, right click, and then we can go to calculate geometry. Once again, we're going to use a regular coordinate system. Come over here in feet. Click OK. You can see there's some slight changes. Come over here, go under calculate geometry, use the existing coordinate system, come over here to feet, click OK. And you can see that there's small changes. Oops, and I once again did the thing that's so easy to do, calculate geometry. In this case, the easting is going to be X. And click OK. Okay, now they're different. All right, so now what we do is we have these coordinates, so we can put those in GINT, and we can plot out to develop our fence diagram. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this. So first off, we're going to take all records, and we're going to pick a spot for it to go. So in this case, I am looking at my folder connections. I had a few of these set up already. So I'm going to 405, and then I've got my work products and worksheets and fall 2000. Okay. And so what we're looking at here is these are my Brookhaven boring coordinates. Now you can see this is a DBF, which is a database file. And it's sometimes hard to work with a database file. For example, Excel doesn't read database files. So I'm going to change this to a text file. Save. Click OK. I don't need to add it to a current map. So now we have the coordinates of all these borings, and now our next step will be to work with Gint to put these data in, and we'll be in line to develop our fence diagram.